Yo, fam, what up? Okay, so, man, I get so wound up about how freaking perfect and incredible my destiny is. Like, you gotta love yourself, you know? You really, if you're on this path and you're in the stage or the feeling of like despair at all, or weakness, or you just don't love yourself fully, and that's the first step. You gotta love yourself. Like, I didn't remember, at least when I was born, that I was sent by God to do mighty works on earth. And when I remembered, when it arose in my conscious mind, the call, the mission, it really just starts to blow everything apart. Starts to refuse connections. Sometimes my diet is really like fat heavy, like oil, like seeds and oil and other things, because I feel like I'm rebuilding, like, and strengthening neural connections, and synapses and whatnot. Like, I'm downloading so much light into my body that my physical form is like upgrading to in order to handle the electricity and the power of it all. I mean, that's what like pranayama and all these things are for, is like preparing the neurons, preparing the nerves, preparing the mind to handle the amount of energy that we're downloading. So I feel this upgrade in my physical form, and I guess that's just the physical part, the physical side, the body side of my like spiritual involvement. It's just interesting to feel it physically, like I'm actually like rebuilding like nerve pathways and whatnot. Like, I don't even know if it's rebuilding them, but like strengthening them. Like, I have to, like, my body's gonna be like superhuman, and or at least it has to be until I manifest my light body, which I think I already did. Maybe, like, I just am not fully conscious of it yet. I'm not sure. I was gonna talk about the sadhana of perfect faith. So yesterday's video was the sadhana. Sadhana's practice, spiritual practice. Sadhana, Sanskrit word for spiritual practice. Everything is sadhana, but so yesterday's the sadhana of perfect allowing, and today the sadhana of perfect faith, which is perfect fearlessness. So I was laying down earlier, and I had this vision of like being in the woods alone, and this like lion, but like superhuman, or not superhuman, super lion, like beast, like beast type thing, like coming directly at me. And I had this vision that it was like me and another person, my sister maybe, like walking on this path in the forest. I wasn't dreaming, I was just laying there, but I've been thinking about fearlessness and perfect faith. And when I say perfect, like perfect allowing and perfect faith, I mean that there's like the sadhana of like allowing and the sadhana of faithfulness, but when it becomes perfected, it becomes transcendental to the concept or the sadhana itself. So everything is culminating in perfection, and the sadhana of perfect faith is absolute faith. Like, I'm really getting there, I think. Anyway, the vision. So we're walking, and this beast lion thing like comes toward us, like in a very aggressive like like gonna kill us, basically. You know, I mean that's what like someone would think. And my sister like screamed, or whoever was with me. I don't know if it was my sister, maybe like some girl, or I don't know who it was. Um, she like screamed and ran and like ducked away and ran. And normally, like, even though I've been trying to practice perfect faithfulness, a little bit of fear would arise in me, even if I was just standing there, and even if I could hold my ground and like be brave enough to like hold my ground, I would still feel fear a little bit at least. But this time I didn't, and as soon as I was perfectly fearless, um, I became like transparent, and the beast just went through me or just stopped, you know. And then I had this vision of like I was out in the woods alone, and I heard like there were coyotes at night, and I was afraid actually. Mostly, I was just trying not to think about them because I didn't want to like manifest them over where I was. And so, but then again, laying today, I had this vision of like if one of the coyotes like were to actually like have its, or say a wolf were to like actually have its like uh jaw like around your throat, and still feeling like perfect fearlessness, like perfect faithfulness in everything. And then I was reading last night, like Matthew 13, I think. 12, 13, or 14, somewhere right in there. And Peter, like Jesus comes walking out across the water, and Peter says, if it's really you, they're all afraid. They go, it's a ghost. And then Peter or Paul says, if it's really you, um, then call me out there. And Jesus says, come. And Peter walks on the water. But then this like storm comes up a little bit, and Peter gets scared and starts to sink. So this is like a beautiful metaphor for the power of perfect faith. And here, when I say perfect, it's that you cannot be afraid at all. Perfect fearlessness. Because a little bit of fear, you'll sink in the water. A little bit of fear, the lion will eat you. Perfect faithfulness, the lion won't eat you, and you won't sink in the water. So it is related to the sadhana of allowing, because in order to allow everything in your life, it does take this certain faithful perspective. Um, but I want to make a point about like the perfecting of it, because the sadhana of faithfulness and the sadhana of allowing are great things to do, but like I'm perfect at them now. And in my perfect faith, I'm perfectly fearless, which means I'm perfectly lit. I'm perfectly uh, darkless. Like there's no dark in me anymore. There's no air. I don't edify air by giving it any attention. This is what I mean when I say we don't need to fight anything. If you try to fight the dark, then you edify it. But I know that there's only light, and that's the source of my perfect faithfulness. And my teacher is Master Sananda, Jesus the Christ. Love.